स्टडी IQ IAS, अब तैयारी हुई अफोर्डेबल।
Welcome to StudyIQ's initiative, the podcast. In the last episode of the podcast, we had discussed all the provisions till Business Advisory Committee. In today's episode, we are going to begin our discussion from Committee on Public Sector Undertakings. Sir, can you give us some brief information about Committee on PSUs?
Before we start, I want to tell you something, that this is not an advertisement. However, it is a global vision of StudyIQ to provide most affordable and effective education. In our Prelims to Interview program, that is P2I program, you will be accompanied by the best faculties of the field, and you will also receive the one-to-one mentorship in this program. Moreover, you will receive prelims as well as mains test series according to UPSC syllabus. So, for huge discount, you can use my code AVLIVE. All the links are pinned in the comment section.
Committees on PSUs was created at the first in 1964 on the recommendation of Krishna Mohan Committee. Presently, the committee consists of 22 members, which individually consist of 15 members from Lok Sabha and 7 members from Rajya Sabha. Election of the members in the committee happens every year by Lok Sabha from amongst its members according to the principle of proportional representation by the means of single transferable vote. It ensures that all parties get a due representation in committee through this process. The term of office is 1 year for the committees on PSU. A minister cannot be elected as a member of committee, and the chairman of a committee is been appointed from the amongst its members by the speaker, who is drawn from the Lok Sabha only.
Sir, can you throw some light on functions of Committee on PSUs?
Functions of committees on PSUs have to examine the reports and accounts of the public undertakings. PSU committee also have to examine the reports of the CAG on the public undertakings. It also examine whether the affairs of the public undertaking are being managed in accordance with sound business principles and prudent commercial practices. Committee on PSU also exercise such other functions which are vested in the PSC and the estimates committee in relation to public undertakings which are allotted to it by the speaker from time to time.
Sir, now we are curious to understand the limitations of Committee on PSUs.
Committee on PSU cannot take up the examination of more than 10 to 12 public undertakings in a year. And even the post-mortem nature of the committee is not desirable. The PSU committee does not look into the technical matters as its members are not technical experts. Its recommendations are mere advisory and they are not even binding on any ministries. So they considered to be an ineffective in terms of binding nature.
Sir, next important parliamentary committee is Business Advisory Committee. Can you give us some brief information about Business Advisory Committee?
Business Advisory Committee regulates the program and timetable of the House. It allocates time for the transaction of legislative and other businesses brought before the House by the government. The Business Advisory Committee in Lok Sabha consists of 15 members, which are including in the Speaker as a chairman. And Rajya Sabha, the same committee consists of 11 members, which has the chairman of Rajya Sabha as its ex officio chairman. The next important committee is Rules Committee. The Rules Committee considers the matter of procedures and conduct of the businesses in the House and recommends the necessary amendments or additions to the rules of the House. Lok Sabha Committee consists of 15 members, including the Speaker as its ex officio chairman. The next committee is the General Purpose Committee. General Purpose Committee considers the advice on matters concerning affairs of the House, which do not fall within the jurisdiction of any other parliamentary committee. In each House, this committee consists of the presiding officer as its ex officio chairman, deputy speaker, that means deputy chairman in that case of Rajya Sabha, members of panel of chairperson, that means panel of vice chairpersons in the case of Rajya Sabha, and chairpersons of all the departmental standing committee of the House, leader of recognized political parties and groups in the House, and such other members are nominated by the presiding officer.
Sir, The next important committee is Committee on Women Empowerment. How can we understand the significance of this committee?
The Committee on Women Empowerment was constituted in 1997, which consists of 30 members, basically 20 from Lok Sabha and 10 from Rajya Sabha. The Women Empowerment Committee considers the report of the National Commission for Women and examines the measures which are taken by the Union government to secure status, dignity for women in all the fields. The next important committee is Committee on Privileges. The functions of this committee are semi-judicial in nature. It examines the case of breach of privileges of the House and its members and recommends appropriate action. The Lok Sabha committee has 15 members involved in it, whereas in the Rajya Sabha the committee has 10 members. The next important committee is Committee on Subordinate Legislation. Subordinate Legislation Committee examines and reports to the House whether the power to make regulations, rules, sub-rules and by-rules delegated by the Parliament or conferred by the Constitution to Executive are being properly exercised by it. In both the houses, the committee consists of 15 members. The next important committee is Committee on Ethics. The Committee on Ethics was constituted in Rajya Sabha in 1997 and in Lok Sabha in 2000. It enforces the code of conduct of members of Parliament, and Committee on Ethics also examines the case of misconduct and recommends the appropriate action, and it ensures the discipline and decorum in the Parliament. The next important committee is Departmental Standing Committee, which is constituted on the recommendation of the Rules Committee of the Lok Sabha. At that time, 17 departmental standing committees were set up in Parliament in 1993, increasing their number from 17 to 24 in 2004. The objective of the standing committees is to secure more accountability of the executive towards the Parliament in general and financial accountability in Parliament. They also assist the Parliament in debating the budget more effectively. The 24 standing committee cover all the ministries, departments of the central government. Each standing committee consists of 31 members, including 21 members from Lok Sabha and 10 members from Rajya Sabha. The members of Lok Sabha in the standing committee are nominated by Speaker from amongst its own members and by the chairman in case of Rajya Sabha. A minister is not eligible to be nominated as a member of any of the standing committee. The term of office of each standing committee is for 1 year, and out of 24 standing committees under Rajya Sabha, there are only 8 standing committees, and under Lok Sabha, there are 16 standing committees.
Sir, can you elaborate some functions of departmental standing committees? And we also want you to indicate some limitations of this committee.
The first important function of departmental standing committee is to consider the demands for grants of the concerned ministries, departments before they are discussed and voted in Lok Sabha. The second function is to examine bills pertaining to the concerned ministries and departments. And the next function is to consider annual reports from ministries and departments. The next important function of the Departmental Standing Committee is that to consider National Basic Long-Term Policy document and present it to the House. And in terms of limitations, if we will discuss, the Departmental Standing Committee do not consider the matters of day-to-day administration. They should not generally consider the matters which are considered by the other parliamentary committee as well. And the recommendations are only advisory in nature, and that's why they are not binding to any ministries or departments.
Sir, what are merits of these committees?
Merits of these standing committees is that the proceedings and working are devoid of any party bias, more flexible procedural approach than in the Lok Sabha. It also ensures parliamentary control over executive, much more detailed, close, continuous, in-depth and comprehensively. The system also ensures economy and efficiency in public expenditure. This committees facilitates opportunities to all the MPs to participate and understand the functioning of the government and contribute to it. They can avail of expert opinion or public opinion to make the reports. They are authorized to invite experts and eminent persons.
Sir, thank you for giving us the information. Dear listeners, it is time to call it quits for this episode of the podcast. In the next episode, we will start our discussion from another important topic. So stay connected with StudyIQ and keep studying. You can listen to StudyIQ Presents, the podcast, on all the audio streaming platforms like Spotify, Hubhopper, Apple Podcast, etc. Links are pinned in the comment section below. Thank you.